Welcome to the official Universal Disney Nuts podcast. If you're passionate about Central Florida theme parks like we are, then you've come to the right place. Now on to the show. Here's your host, Bill Balcerski.
Universal Disney Nuts. I am Bill, your host. Welcome to the show, everybody. Sounds a little weird in here. We are coming to you live from the secret turkey lair, if you will.
Secret turkey lair, really?
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, we
Wow.
have got some kids playing outside, and of course the neighbor down the road is getting a new roof. So if we were to record at the Tiki Bar,
A lot of construction noise.
a lot of noise, a lot of construction noise. So we are coming to you live from the secret turkey lair in UDN Studios. That's right.
You've got issues.
I'm going to go there. Ladies and gentlemen, big announcement. Mr. Dave Indy is back. That's right.
Thank you.
Oh, he was gone?
Really?
Yeah, well, you know.
I knew he was gone. I had to suffer last.
And poor Bill.
I mean, that was like
Nails on a chalkboard.
root canal. I had to suffer. So, speaking of turkey, happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving.
I hope you have an amazing holiday. What are you guys thankful for?
My loving husband who does the podcast.
Although that was dripping with sarcasm,
Way a lot.
like gravy, right? The gravy on a
Oh,
turkey.
yeah. Like au jus.
I appreciate her saying that. What are you thankful for, Mr. Indy?
That we're almost out of
Oh,
2020.
God, yes. Yes. I have to say that...
I don't know, at this point, 2021, the start of it isn't looking much better, so.
Well, we'll see.
Hold
we'll
my
see.
beer.
Right.
Honestly, I just want things to chill out and let's get back to normal. You know what I mean?
I want that more than anything.
This whole Corona 2020, 2020 has been an absolute disaster. We should write it off. I am thankful for everyone who is not sick right now.
Yeah.
I am thankful for us having the ability to do this podcast. I am thankful for friends and family. And I am also thankful that we survived 2020.
Yeah.
So we're not out of the woods yet.
You still got to go through
We're
Christmas.
still got to go through Christmas, which is like a root canal for me. But
you stop. It's not that bad.
you know, I used to love Christmas when I was a kid. I used to love Christmas. But then we forget all about Thanksgiving. We go right to Christmas. For those of you who are premature decorations, you know, like
Well,
back in
To
the
be
day.
fair,
No, back in
no.
the day, I don't care about your mental issues. Okay. Oh, it makes me feel better. Oh, no. Put your mental issues aside for a second.
yeah, but I think
We-
people in 2020 this year just needed some happiness. Like I know some
Okay,
people
I
that
get
decorated
that.
back in
But
the
they
summer.
had trees in Walmart before Halloween.
Thank you very
Wow.
much. That's my point. And see, here's the thing. We used to never decorate until we saw the whites of Santa's eyes at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. That's when Christmas season started, when you saw Santa coming down that strip. Not before October.
Well, true.
I mean, this is getting ridiculous now.
Have I decorated anything for Christmas?
You know better.
Excuse me?
Because I'll throw that shit out. You know better.
I still say
Who
get
do
the
you
reindeers.
think you're talking to?
My wife, what?
I said still get the humping reindeers that I sent you guys.
No,
that was
we're
classic.
It's on
putting
Amazon if
humping-
those want to look it up. It's
We're
called
not
Humping
putting
Reindeers.
humping
They're
reindeers
inflatable
out
for your
in the
Christmas
yard.
yard.
What about that leg lamp from...
Oh, yes. Put it right there in that window.
That's right. We'll do that. Couple of big ticket items this week. Obviously, the parks are packed right
Yes.
now
Yes.
with Thanksgiving holiday weekend coming up. And truth be told, we expected this.
Mm-hmm.
We knew that the parks were going to be busy. They've already hit capacity.
Yep.
A couple days, people are bitching already. These parks during the holidays are absolutely crazy. Corona is not going to stop these parks from being nuts. And
No. And Disney increased their capacity from 25% to 35%.
yeah, we talked about that on the last podcast, and I think that's to anticipate the crowds for
Yes.
Haven't heard if Universal up theirs, but they're pretty hush-hush when they do a lot of stuff unless they're really forced to state what their occupancy is.
Yeah, Universal has been very low key lately. They've been very chill. Like they haven't said much, they haven't announced much, they haven't done much. So
They're holding the popcorn, watching everyone else.
yeah, exactly.
Following what everybody else is doing, I think.
If you're coming down for the holidays, folks, just be prepared for a lot of people. If you don't feel comfortable being around a lot of people, then maybe you should reconsider coming down here to Central Florida for the holidays. Disney Springs is going to be packed. It already is. I think they reached capacity yesterday. So just understand that if you do come down for the holidays, you have to understand the mask protocols. You have to understand how things are working down here.
And if you don't want to wear your mask
Properly.
exactly,
Don't come.
don't go to the parks because you will be asked to leave.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty strict about the way things are. They have to be.
And they've
Yes.
really cracked down at all the parks.
Right.
They really have.
Exactly. So
As they should.
Yeah.
this whole coronavirus spike is going to cause problems for the holidays. People, depending on where you live, people have already had restrictions for how many people can get together for the holiday
In their own house.
in their own house.
Alcohol sales suspended
Yeah,
in some places.
crazy. It's just nuts right
Thanksgiving
now.
Eve.
Oh,
We're just-
geez.
We're on a level of stupidity right now that's just unbelievable. And everybody's like, we got to be safe. We got to be safe. Well, we've been safe for the last 7 months, and the thing has still been a problem.
And look at the
So,
countries that have lockdown and they're spiked too. So
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is anymore. This whole Corona thing is just horrible. And, I've always taken the position where if it could be manufactured, it could be eradicated. But we have the vaccines coming. Hopefully, I don't think,
It's a 2-part vaccine.
I don't know. And the vaccine opens up another whole conversation. We're not going to go down that road, but let's not get off topic. Let's stay on
Yes,
focus
let's
here.
go back to happier things, please.
Couple of big ticket items. You guys heard the big announcement this week of legendary Imagineer Joe Rohde has quietly announced his retirement after 40 plus years at Disney.
Oh, that's sad though.
but I'm happy for them.
Yeah.
He has certainly made an impact like you wouldn't believe. He joined Disney when he was 25. And folks, you cannot come to Disney and not be impacted from what this guy has done.
He was an artist more than anything.
Absolutely.
I mean, just absolutely. And, in Central Florida, he is legend status with his dangling earring, which was his little icon thing.
Oh my God, that thing
I
was
know,
pulling on
right?
his ear left and right.
Yeah, man. Like before it was popular, right, to put those big holes in your ears. But
Yeah, it's him.
yeah, well,
That keychain hanging from his ear.
yeah. And that's his vibe. And God bless him. You know what I mean? Like that's very cool that he does that. But what's cool, I read this the other day, is that all the charms that are on that are all the places he's traveled
Yes.
to.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
so
I
it's
didn't
like-
know that.
It's like a Pandora bracelet, only for his ear. So he wanted to stage exit right during this lull, so to speak, before he got sucked into another project. I think we all know what that other project is. He has had a major, major impact on Disney. He's the one that designed Animal Kingdom.
Yep.
He's designed Alani out in Hawaii. He did the Adventures Club when we were at Pleasure Island. Mission
Still
Space.
I still miss it.
Yeah, it had some cool trinkets. Most of the trinkets, if you don't know, from the Adventures Club went to Hangar.
Hangar Bar,
Yeah.
Yeah. He has done Pandora. He's done Tower of Terror both in Florida and in California. Now California is Guardian of the Galaxy.
The remake of it too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, he did the remake too. And he also did the Villages Nature Eco Resort in Paris. So
I hadn't heard about that one.
this guy has
have to look
touched
in-
every aspect of Disney, and he is legend status.
Yep.
And the funny thing about it is when he joined Disney, he had no clue what he was doing.
That surprised me when I read that.
I was like, wow, what? So very well deserved and impossible to replace. Central Florida is definitely going to miss him. But after 40 years of service to both Disney and to the people that go to Disney, you know, we can't do anything but applaud and be thankful that we had him in our lives.
Absolutely.
He'll be a Hall of Famer and for Disney's saying probably next year, they said, or the year after. And
Absolutely.
IAPA definitely right after that, he'll be introduced.
He's a first ballot Hall of Fame
Oh, yeah.
kind of guy. You know what I mean? I mean, the guy is just has touched every single aspect of Disney.
Oh, yeah.
So congratulations, Joe. We appreciate everything you've done for us. And we wish you the best moving forward. I think he said he was going to spend some time in Nepal.
Not surprised.
Oh,
He loved it over there when he was doing everything for Everest, I remember.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite ride of his.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
His
think that's the
Expedition
project he's
Everest.
trying to avoid, right? Because Everest.
Disco Yeti.
Well, either
Everest
that
is
or
gonna be a
Dinosaur
mess.
Land.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I'd still love to see that switch to an Indiana Jones.
He said that he wanted to leave on his terms, and he wanted to leave before he got sucked into another major 5-10-year project. He's already 65, which I can understand. He doesn't want to work till he's 75, you know?
No.
I mean, the guy's worth over $5 million. He doesn't need the money. You know what I mean? So to start at Disney at 25 and retire at 65 and be worth and have a net worth over 5 mil, you know, like you're doing pretty well.
And he'll probably be a consultant to Disney still on a
absolutely.
lot of
Oh, I'm
things.
sure.
I mean, he's legend status, like I said before, you know,
Yeah.
like he'll have impact. Like the up and coming Imagineers are going to, you know, worship him like a god. So,
Yeah.
and I'm sure he's going to have consulting.
Oh, yeah. Easily.
duties. All right, moving on. Brightline has announced an agreement with Disney to build a train station at Disney Springs. Not sure how I feel about this.
Yeah, I have mixed emotions about it.
And I'll tell you why. They're going to put a train station at Disney Springs, and it'll support a upscale high-speed rail service from Disney Springs to Orlando International Airport. That's a plus.
Yeah.
That's a win. And then also high-speed rail service to South Florida and eventually Jacksonville.
2023, I think, is the one that opens from the airport to South Florida.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I was reading
Okay.
it. Yeah, the expressway sent me a thing, and I was going through all the check marks on the bridges they've had completed and all this stuff so far.
Now, it's progress, right? And anytime we have progress, it's a good thing. The repercussions of progress may be something that we're not looking at, but when we look at high-speed rail service, it's coming like a freight train, pun intended. This is the wave of the future, right? The tunnels with the cars, and that's California. And, you know, they tried to build a high-speed tunnel from LA to Vegas.
Yeah,
Also-
the Hyper or whatever.
Right, Virgin and also Elon Musk's company is building a high-speed tunnel to where, you know, you get in, you strap in, and it's 175 miles an hour until you're in Vegas. You're there literally in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But Brightline is also the ones that are doing high-speed rail service from Vegas to LA. That one is kind of interesting because originally it was supposed to be one company. They went bankrupt. Brightline came in and bought it. Now they're trying to get the service done. The rail station in Vegas is going to be, if you go to Vegas and you're familiar with Vegas, on the south side, all the way on the south side of the strip, down by where that mall was. You know where Mandalay Bay is if you keep going south?
Oh, okay.
That's kind of where it's going to be. The land was bought.
What's the point of putting it out there?
The station, well, they want direct access. California wants direct access to Vegas.
If you
Well, I
build it, they will
understand
come.
that, but
Yeah, and that's what I'm a little afraid of with this whole thing from South Florida. With all due respect to South Floridians, I am not trying to be derogatory towards you at all, but this high-speed train is going to bring more and more and more people, which we already have an issue with these parks as it is.
yep.
So, great idea, but be careful what you wish for because now the park's going to be at capacity faster, and you get what you get.
I just want to try to figure out where they're going to put it. I don't think it'll be attached to around Disney Springs, but just generally, I'm trying to figure probably closer to the Epcot exit.
Well, they said it was going to be available and close to I-4.
Yeah, they're finally getting their hub that was supposed to be part of Epcot under Walt's original vision. He wanted a transportation hub, so this is kind of into Walt's original idea for I Know Orlando, I read.
Right.
But
right.
I don't see it right next to Disney Springs because if people are getting off left and right, that's just flooding Disney Springs. So they got to have it separated a little to where they can get the buses in and out, the luggage in and out for all these people that are getting on the train.
Well, that's the thing. You know, you don't want it dropping off right at Disney Springs.
So that's why I'm trying to closer. I'm thinking to the Epcot exit loop. That's where I can picture property available, really, that's not developed, and next to I-4.
Yeah, that area over by I-4 towards where the
536 comes in, the Epcot loop.
Yeah.
That would be my idea of where they could drop it.
Also down by where Wild World of Sports.
That's true.
You know, there's a lot of land out there. And
Yeah.
they could drop it off right there and then
just keep it going. Then I saw it's going to tie in supposedly to the Sunrail line around the Oak Meadows, which is on Orange Avenue. Based on the layout of the map, it'll come out of the airport and then stop there. So then you got all the people for Sunrail that can hit it and get to Disney just as easy too. Coming all the way from the land, I think it goes to all the way to Ponciana. So that's more people going.
it's a transportation option, which is always good.
Yeah.
You know, having the ability to move more people is always good. But like I said, be careful what you wish for, because now you have more people coming to Disney, and once we get past this pandemic, it's going to be very hard to get into these parks.
I think I do.
Because everybody's going to want to get their Disney fill, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So,
but we can go down south too. I mean, for a day, so
that's true.
being nice.
Yeah.
But, and they're
I was to say that does open up more possibilities for people coming to the Orlando area. They can stay in Orlando and take a day trip down to Fort Lauderdale, Miami.
And that's a
West
great
Palm.
point, because when we lived down in Stewart, it was a 2.5 hour drive, and we were making that drive, you know, so the princess can get her Disney fix.
Twice a month?
Yeah, I'd say about twice a month. And so we had this system set up where I would drive up and then she would drive back, and, you know, like we would do that, you know, so.
And the good thing is all
fix.
this whole construction of the train rail line, they're raising every intersection above traffic. So you're not going to get stuck waiting for another train to go flying by at high speeds. Everyone's elevated.
Which would be nice.
So I think that's kind of a well thought out process for them on this one.
It's going to be a lot of money, so they better think about it.
True.
Moving on, Disney has started testing on Harmonious
I know.
at Epcot.
And did you see that one of the monstrosities that they're
I saw the
erecting,
picture.
Stargate.
is going to be permanently in the center of the lagoon. So they're going to be having like a water feature like during the day.
Yes, I saw that.
So,
As you know, this is the final replacement for Illumination's Reflections of Earth.
Reflections of Earth.
Bill's
There it
favorite
is.
part.
It's gone.
that's the best part.
Just like that, Illuminations is gone. In addition to Illuminations being gone and Harmonious being brought in and all the fun stuff, they are also doing an enhanced nighttime lighting package on Spaceship Earth.
That would be nice.
Yeah, I posted that on the Facebook page.
I'm
for
glad to
UDN.
see they didn't water that down unlike other things they do.
Yeah, the days of the green Siemens being lasered onto the ball are over. I think.
Well, considering Siemens is no longer a sponsor.
Right. But I mean, that was like hot technology back then. Oh my God.
Wow.
Siemens.
Ooh, ah.
So Siemens was a longtime sponsor of Epcot.
We were easily impressed back then.
Right?
Oh God, yes, we were.
Or drunk.
Oh, did we know?
So needless to say, we'll be enjoying the show. I will have the tiki torch in hand, as I normally do.
Yes.
So I'm trying to find what they use in the tiki torch so I can bring it to the tiki bar. I am very close to discovering the secret ingredients to the tiki torch.
While he's in the turkey lab.
Doing some heavy work in the turkey lab. heavy weight for the turkey lab.
Oh,
So
Lord.
the walkway.
We might have to take that button away from him today.
The walkway for the Grand Floridian is
Oh, that's funny.
really. Don't touch my buttons, woman. These buttons are for me. These are not your buttons.
You want to bet?
These are not your buttons.
Your buttons are my buttons.
No.
The fact she knew which one to press, I was impressed with.
Exactly. Jerk. Stay off my buttons.
Always pushing your buttons, isn't she?
Always.
Oh, he was pushing mine something fierce this morning.
Oh, absolutely. So the walkway to Grand Floridian to Magic Kingdom is now open.
I'm so excited about that.
Or reopened, depending on how old you are. A lot of people may or may not know this, but that walkway was actually in service and a walkway back in the day, in the early 90s. That's where it came from. They just took that bridge out. So they put the bridge back in, and now it's a walkway again. Where you can actually go from the Polynesian all the way through.
Well, theoretically, ticket and
Floridian.
transportation.
Yeah, I guess we could go there, right? You could walk from ticket transportation
ticket
all
and
the way through.
transportation through the Polynesian, through the Grand Floridian to Magic Kingdom, and you could really walk all the way to the Contemporary.
Okay, it's a great option. I mean, if you want to do that, you're going to be on your feet all day anyway. I mean, the average person in these parks walks 12 miles, right? So without even knowing about it. So if you wanted to add a couple of miles to that by doing this walk, you're more than welcome to. But I see the value of it so that people aren't forced to go onto the monorail, which is we're close proximity and blah, 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 blah,
Or the
blah.
tiny little resort boats.
Yeah, from the Grand Floridian to the Magic Kingdom, if you're moving with purpose, it's about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Leisurely stroll, 15-ish.
But I
Yeah.
think it's just
So-
under a mile from the Grand Floridian, and I think it's like
Oh, it's way under a mile.
No, you gotta look at
You
it.
got to go around the rim of the lake.
I think it's almost 2 miles from.
I guess that's depending if you're on the outskirts of the Floridian or if they're talking about from the lobby area.
And we're
how
talking
they're
about
basing it.
there and back. We're not talking about there.
Oh, round
Okay.
trip.
So Dapper Days happened this past weekend at Hollywood Studios. If you're into those kind of things, cool. A lot of people like to get dressed up and do that. I think Dapper Days is. I used to always look at Dapper Days like, really? Is that really? But now with the pandemic and everything else, I'm like, go with your bad self. You know what I mean? Like, do it and have fun with it because we don't have a lot of fun these days anymore.
Good. Can we do it then?
No. It's one of these deals where if that's
So much for wanting to have fun.
that you can go do it.
I just don't want to walk around the theme park in a full grown outfit where I'm
Yeah, exactly.
dying.
Hello. And you have Victoria, you have all your other friends that I'm sure would love to do. Yeah, if Dapper Days brings you guys joy, more power to you. Enjoy it. Get dressed up. Enjoy yourselves. It's like Halloween, but Disney style, so to speak. Looks like they had a pretty good time.
Yeah.
It's the fall version. The spring version was actually virtual because of COVID. So they didn't actually do a spring one. Well, they did, but it was virtual, so I don't know if it counts. And then the fall one actually took place in the park, which was very cool. So we've had progress on that. And then, of course, more holiday desserts. Disney keeps rolling out these holiday desserts.
I was saying, there's a plethora of desserts in the parks this year.
Shut up and get in my mouth. My God. Disney introduces a new pumpkin caramel Thanksgiving cupcake. Have you seen this?
No.
I posted the pictures on UDN. If you go to UDN Facebook page,
Or maybe.
you'll see it. It's the one with the maple leaves,
Okay, yeah.
the white icing with the maple leaves on it. And inside, it's like a caramel filling. That's at Disney's Wilderness Lodge, $5.99.
I think I'd rather go to Krispy Kreme's. I think they were rolling out caramel glazed donuts instead of the normal
I
ones.
saw that.
I would be over a box of those before that cupcake.
I would go into diabetic shock. I mean, I can't. Honestly, I love Voodoo Donuts out in Universal. And
The maple bacon.
My God, the donuts out there. If you've never been to Voodoo Donuts out there at Universal Studios, you got to try it. I mean,
even the Simpson one, the huge Simpson one, I used to bring that home when I worked there. You divide that into 4 people, but those were really good donuts considering they were more of a novelty just because of size and all that. But
their donuts are very heavy, though. You know what I mean? Like
they're very cakey,
cakey, like very thick.
Yes,
that's the one.
It's a meal.
Yeah, that's the one hit Voodoo Donuts is. Their donuts are not light. They sit in your stomach like a rock.
That's why you get it to go, so you can get your milkshake at Tucson's.
Oh yeah, man. My God.
I just sold one of that the other day to a guy from my car club that I'm with. I'm like, dude, you got to go get the milkshakes.
Oh, God, the milkshakes are amazing.
I sent him photos of all of them. I'm like, I killed this one. I've killed this one. I've killed this milkshake.
Dave Indy's famous for killing those milkshakes.
Oh, I've got it down to under 10 minutes for one of those things now.
Oh, my gosh.
Universal Studios also introduces, sticking with the dessert theme, a new vegan reindeer brownie. In addition to the vegan brownie skull that they had for Halloween Horror Nights.
Yep.
That's at the Holiday Tribute Store. And I'm not sure how much that is, but what makes a brownie vegan?
I think it's the ingredients, really. What they're using, the flour,
Like
depending on what they're using.
They sprinkle powdered sugar on it and call it vegan, or how's that work?
No, it's based on the certain ingredients that are in it, or lack of, I guess I should say, ingredients that are in it that will make it that way.
Okay. All right. Well, if you're a vegan and you love brownies, now's your chance to get a vegan reindeer brownie. In addition, I think they're still selling the skulls. So the Holiday Tribute Store and Universal. So
yep.
Get over to Universal to go to that. Tamika!
Yeah.
Really? And speaking of Universal, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Dave Indy.
Hello, everyone. For starters, I want to thank Jen for covering the Universal news for me. Last week.
That was very exciting last podcast.
I'm also glad to see that you weren't in a Grinch onesie with this time when I showed up, since that was her fantasy last time.
Yeah, no, we're going to keep that her fantasy.
So I'm glad to see I didn't show up to that in the Turkey Lab on that one. So let's take a look. Universal's been quite busy here lately. If those who haven't seen the video, the Velocicoaster has been testing after dark. Last night I saw a video. They actually stalled it on top of the top hat purposely.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they purposely stopped it at the very top to see if the linear induction motors would actually hold it. So they were launching it and finally got it to sit on the very tippy top purposely.
And they pulled it off?
Yeah, they pulled it off.
Wow.
As I say, one of the guys that I follow was actually happened to be there, and he's like, in his 20-something years of following parks as well, he's like, I've never seen someone purposely try to stall a coaster at the top. You know,
Well, it would make sense. You need to kind of know what's going to happen if it does.
But they did plenty of rollback tests. I watched the videos on them rolling it purposely, not making it the full hill and rolling back. So that was kind of cool to watch.
Yeah, they need to focus on the seatbelts.
Definitely. My only other concern is they've had an osprey still trying to build a nest at the top of that thing. So
they're going to have to bring FWC in.
They're going to have to do something.
Or osprey.
Yeah. I mean, when it was first built, it was up there, and then they got rid of it when the testing. So I'm assuming they removed it again. So, you know, bird versus coaster. But also behind the construction walls, there is a new little kiosk popping up as well in that area. Rumor is it's going to be a churro stand.
Yes.
Because if you look at around, not only here, but just in general at all the Universal, especially overseas, they're rolling out like Harry Potter themed churros and just different flavored ones.
Turkey?
And
Turkey ones?
it could be maybe a stuffing style with maybe gravy dipping. I don't know.
You're in the Turkey Lab. You better start coming around to this.
In the middle of the night, he's just going to randomly press that button.
I know. That's what I'm scared of.
We are deep in the labyrinth that is the Turkey Lab.
When Bill's at work at 3 in the morning, you're getting a phone call, and all you're just going to hear is, and then he's hanging up.
It's a true story. It's going down. Go ahead.
It's going to happen. That's all right.
Turn my phone on silent.
But to add to the possibility of the rumors of it being a churro stand, December's annual pass holder pin was a churro heart. So a lot of things kind of pointing churro. My daughter, I know, will be ecstatic when she comes down because of her love for churros.
I don't hate them. I'll
Yeah.
tell you that. I don't
I
hate
am
the
not
churro.
a fan of churros.
Yeah, but you make them. You made them pretty good ones.
Yeah, I can make them, but it doesn't necessarily mean I like to eat them.
In the meantime, there's a Churro Mania in Florida Mall, as well as the Walmart on Osceola Parkway in Kissimmee. For those who love churros that much and don't want to go to the theme parks.
Wow, I don't know if I love churros enough to go to Walmart.
Well, it's a Churro Mania. It's like they did the Wendy's and stuff in there,
yeah, I
but
get
so
it.
it's not
I get
really
it.
them.
Yeah, I get it.
Jen touched on this, but just a reminder, Portofino opens here soon on 12/1, and Dockside is officially opening on 12/15. As she touched a little bit, rumors of hotel moves, still kind of holding out on that one, but I can let you know for Aventura, because they were pretty much possibly extending the closure. That's the only one. If you move from Aventura to Cabana Bay as their, I won't say equal, but basically where they're shoving you, unless you want to pay the difference elsewhere. That's the only one that they're offering you a $50 food credit on. If they move you to Bill's favorite, Sapphire, over to Royal or one of those, basically you get the express pass. If you're moving from Hard Rock or one of them back over to Portofino, you get nothing other than your room rates aren't changing. So
Right, because you're essentially upgrading.
yeah,
Yes,
or they're
right.
giving you back something, so they're not going to give you your $50 food credit. So if you did get it by them moving you the last time and you want to move back over to Portofino, you're losing it. So something to keep in mind depending on the people. Rumor is Surfside may be closing after the first of the year. They're moving over to their sister property, Dockside, once it opens, which I think is good to see them rotate, because even though it's not only been open, maybe a year and a half at
I was
that.
going to say if
I was
that.
gonna say it gives them a chance to rotate and try out the new hotel, work out the kinks. So I'm excited for that one.
And it's brand new rooms that no one has been in.
Exactly. They're
So
just
it's a
sitting
fresh
there.
start.
Yeah, they're just sitting there collecting dust almost at this point.
Yep.
So, and then unfortunately, Aventura and Sapphire, like I said, are rumored to stay closed for the first half of 2021.
Boo.
Yeah, Bill doesn't get to go to the rum bar anytime soon.
If you have not been to the rum bar at Sapphire Falls Hotel, you are missing out on the finer things in life.
Sit outside on the dock near the little fire pits they got.
The fire pit is amazing. I mean, the drinks are pricey, but you're going to get that anywhere. But if you're bringing your vacation fund and you wanted to have a very cool place to hang out and just drink and chill, that bar that's by the pool at Sapphire Falls is amazing.
Yeah, there, and then also up on the roof at Aventura, I love Bistro Bar 17 on the
It
roof.
is a pretty
because
cool
the
bar
view
up
was
there.
worth
Yeah,
it, especially
it's
if you were up there when fireworks used to happen at Disney and SeaWorld. You had a view of everything going around you. I always
Yep.
thought that was great.
Yep, very cool.
Rolling with the turkey thing, hotels are having their menus rolling out, as well as they're doing Thanksgiving at the hotels. So those who are in town or just looking for something to go eat, the various ones are Cabana Bay has basically a little menu on it. Surfside has something, but the biggest two, obviously, you're going to want to make. They're not requiring reservations at those particular ones. However, the two that will is Hard Rock Hotel and Royal Pacific. They have more of the larger menus, the buffet kind of style. However, they're kind of doing it obviously different, plated and so forth. But like for Hard Rock, they're doing it, and as well as for Thanksgiving over at Royal, they're about $59.99 plus tax per person on that one.
But you're getting the full Monty. You're getting the whole
Yeah.
thing, right?
Definitely. Like I got the menus here, I've printed out as well, but they're also at Hard Rock doing a Thanksgiving style breakfast if you want to hit the parks. And that's only $30 on that one, but that's only from like 7 and 11. And then after that, that's when the dinner ones take over for everybody. So I've done it a few times. I know you guys have gone, I believe as well, or at least for the holidays.
Yeah,
so
we sure have.
definitely worth on that one. Obviously, we talked about the holidays kicking off. No Mannheim Steamroller for 2020. I didn't hear that when Jen was covering, so I just want to make sure people are aware of that who like that. Wasn't my thing. I've watched them a few times, but
Yeah, my understanding is they announced that previously, but I don't think it got a lot of traction.
no.
So
No, it didn't.
I mean, people would stand there for them, But Trans-Siberian Orchestra to me is more of a rock concert, where that one's more like I expect to see it at Epcot, where the people there are just like sitting and not doing much. Good news for Universal. Comcast recently said they still believe in the parks as great business on their third quarter report on that one. So I'm glad to hear that they're not giving up on it. They also believe that the parks are going to break even in 2021 regardless. Universal Studios Hollywood status, whether they're open, closed, never reopening based on their governor out there.
Right.
But for the third quarter, they were down basically 80%. They're basically down a total of $311 million compared to last year. But overall, for the physical year, they're sitting down only 71%, which they're still sitting at $1.267 billion, and that was on the 23rd of November. So I don't think they're really hurting financially if you're sitting on $1 billion.
Yeah, but I mean, we talked about this. Both Disney and Universal, they're not hurting. I mean, they're losing money, yes, but are they at the point where they're going to be in trouble? Absolutely not.
They're not going anywhere anytime soon. And like I said, Comcast is still firmly behind the theme parks.
And why would they not be? I mean, let's be honest. This is a temporary situation, right? So once this situation is over and done with, it's going to be a moneymaker again.
And everything goes full circle.
That.
They put stuff out content-wise for IP or intellectual property. They throw it into a theme park like Disney even does.
Yep.
And then it's full circle on them making merchandise and sales and attractions. So they got their stuff there. For Universal as well as Islands Adventure, they got new outdoor seating areas for studios. You can sit over in front of where they have the concerts. They got little umbrella areas out there for social distancing. For Islands, it's over in Jurassic Park area. I just recently saw they post that out. They're underneath the trees, so no really umbrellas on that one.
Kona joins the podcast.
Exactly.
He's like, wait a second. We're supposed to be at the Tiki Bar. We did not discuss this.
I cannot stretch out and be scratched like I normally am.
Kona is our production manager, and he is not happy that we are in the turkey lab. Not happy at all.
Move my paperwork so that way he has a place to stretch out.
Yeah. He's like, why are we here? What are we doing? We're supposed to be outside.
Let me look over your notes. Hold on, let me sit on this.
I was going to say, he's just going to sit on them.
Why do you think I moved my other notes over to the side?
And of course, he's going to lay right in front of Dave. So
exactly. Be like, when you're done, pet me. On a downside, unfortunately, for Universal, and as I'll say, I saw this was posted on the 24th, 1,123 people are being laid off from Universal.
Yeah, I saw that.
373 are from the creative office. 678 are from Universal Studio Plaza, which, if those who don't know, is the back office that runs Universal. However, I didn't realize this began back on August 24th for the layoffs. So it's not like it's something brand new. This has been in the works, so it's not people all being laid off before the holidays. And everybody was given 60-day notice in regards to it. So I feel bad for those people. Hopefully, the way business is going recently for the parks, maybe that'll be temporary on that one. And being that the parks are busy, Fast and Furious is back open. Not sure if it's just for the holidays or not, but as I'll say, I saw that they kind of snuck it in. They never said anything.
Don't they
I think
tweak?
that's kind of like a capacity.
Yeah, they're gonna have plenty of people. They're gonna want the rides open, and don't they tweak it for the holidays? I think.
No.
But
it did have a wait recently. But then again, E.T. had an 85-minute wait. I don't know why. But yeah,
really?
A little ugly alien.
Aww, leave E.T. out of this.
I plan to permanently if I could.
Does he speak turkey?
Enough with the turkey.
And good thing came from him as Reese Pieces.
No,
I
that's
love me some Reese Pieces.
All right, what else you got?
Definitely. So Universal introduced a new exclusive holiday tour. It's running through the 22nd through January 3rd. On that one, you get hot cocoa, a visit with Grinch, fun of the line, access to the Macy's balloon and float displays, special access to the tribute store. But the big kicker is a private showing of the Magic Christmas show at Hogwarts Castle and a keepsake. But the big, like I said, they're only showing the show for these people. That's it. The tour is only, though, $60 for adults or $59.99 plus tax. And obviously, you're probably going to need a park-to-park ticket in regards to it as well. So obviously, it's an add-on. But if you really want to see the holiday Christmas show versus they have just a stagnant where it's going through different scenes slowly throughout the night, this is your only way as of right now to actually see the holiday show. So I think that's kind of cool as a upgrade, and especially since it's not that much, for it. I mean, for $60, it's I think worth it based on what you're getting on it on that one. Let's see. And then they also reached a milestone just the other day. For the first time, the parks hit capacity on a weekday. Obviously, they've always maxed out on weekends, people out and all that, but they actually did it just the other day on a weekday. For those
welcome to a holiday week.
Yeah, I don't think that surprises anyone.
I'm sure Disney has it as well, but for those who need it, if you want to ever find out before going to Universal, they have a capacity hotline phone number. It's 407-817-8317. You can call that number and it'll let you know whether or not the park's at capacity or not, so you're not wasting your time driving over there.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I've always liked that. Just also announced right after the first of the year, 2021, Revenge of the Mummy goes down from the 4th to the 15th of January. Hogsworth Express for one day on the 21st goes down for rehab. Jurassic Park River Adventure goes down from the 11th to the 29th. And then Popeye and Bluto's Bilge Rat Barges, that's a mouthful, goes down from February 2nd to February 19th. And Dooley Do-Right's Ripside Falls from February 22nd till March 19th. So if anyone's planning accordingly to come down and visit, basically that's when certain rides right now are set to close, always subject to change.
Yeah, and the water rides, that's an annual thing. Like every winter they shut those down so they can work on it.
Definitely. And then something that we touched on at the beginning, obviously Universal's now really pushing the face covering a little bit harder on that. They have an announcement that's played every 30 minutes, which is for the health and safety of everyone. Face coverings must be worn at all times, fully covering your nose, mouth, except when actively eating or drinking while stationary. Guests that do not comply will be required to exit the resort. Wash your hands often, thoroughly cover your mouth and nose when coughing and sneezing, and maintain social distance. Thank you for your cooperations. Not only is that announcement played, but everywhere you go, you will now see signs displayed, as well as the team members that used to do the VIP tours and all that they have in the special guest experience kind of things, holding the signs around. They're enforcing it and holding that. So that's all that I have currently for Universal.
Disney's been doing that as well, except their announcement is more like every 15 minutes, I think.
Very cool. Thank you, Mr. Indy.
Definitely.
Appreciate it. And now, of course, it is time for Miss Tanya. That's your intro music now, because I know how much you love it. Here is Tanya with your Disney news.
I might have to choke you out instead of the other way around. All right. Well, Thanksgiving, there is many places in Walt Disney World that are going to be hosting a special Thanksgiving Day menu. And you've got over in the Magic Kingdom, Liberty Tree Tavern. At the Contemporary, California Grill and The Wave will both have seasonal menus. A Garden Grill at Epcot, Narcosis over at the Grand Floridian. At Hollywood Studios, you have 50s Primetime Cafe, Hollywood and Vine, and also Hollywood Brown Derby. Whispering Canyon at the Wilderness Lodge. Wolfgang Puck Bar and Grill at Disney Springs. STK Orlando, also at Disney Springs. And you've got Homecoming by Chef Art Smith. And House of Blues, both obviously at Disney Springs. And Shula's Steakhouse over at the Dolphin Hotel. You don't usually hear that one too often.
No, definitely not.
I love Shula's, though. It's been a long time since I've been to a Shula's.
I just want to say Narcoosseee for the one at the Floridian, just because of the road.
Yeah.
You know what Narcoosseee sounds like? Goose. You know what goose sounds like? Turkey.
Oh, yeah, that was clever.
Go ahead. Come on. We got to. This is going to be like a 3-hour podcast. We got to go. Come on.
3-hour tour.
Well, it's not my fault Dave took so long to talk about.
Dave had a lot of stuff to talk about.
Exactly.
Well, I might have a lot to talk about. Did you take that in consideration?
Absolutely.
Yeah, whatever. So anyway, just make sure to check for reservations at as many places. Only had a few reservations when I was looking. And you could probably also try accepting walk-in. You may have to wait a little while to. Park hopping is making a return to Walt Disney World on January 1st.
And also, there's a rumor that the fireworks are coming back. Did you hear about that?
They have been testing.
Yeah, they've been testing the 50th one.
Yeah, I think
We'll see.
fireworks, they're going to start reintroducing fireworks as well.
Yeah, nothing has become official through Disney channels thus far, but they have been testing, so we'll see. Annual pass holders and guests who purchased theme park tickets with Park Hopper benefits will be able to visit more than one park per day. With this, though, there are a few modifications. First, you need to make a park reservation for the first park you plan to visit and enter that first park prior to visiting another. After that, Park Hopper hours will start at 2 p.m. each day and end at the park scheduled close time. However, that could change depending on availability at the parks. They will, on the MDE app, the My Disney Experience app, they will be putting something on there that will allow you to see whether the park is at capacity before you head over there. So that'll be good to be able to double check.
Agreed.
And also, depending on the day, they may be opening earlier than 2 o'clock for that second visit. So
That's good.
yeah, but for the most part, the general rule is after 2 o'clock.
I was just thinking, man, that sucks if Magic Kingdom was your first one and you really decided to just hit Epcot as your second park, because you'd have to take the transportation, boat or monorail all the way over, go through the turnstile just to go back out and go all the way back.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. But however, keep in mind that the ability to visit another park will be subject to the park's capacity limitations. Also, if park hopping to Hollywood Studios, unless you have your reservation for that park, you will not be able to join the queue for Rise of the Resistance, which makes sense because the Rise of the Resistance, the second queue cutoff is at 2 o'clock.
Listen, they already have mega issues with that ride. We don't need to compound those issues. You know what I mean? So I get it.
Now, we are going to try to get on it again on December 1st. We're going to Hollywood Studios. But what is new, I mean, obviously this has been in play for a few weeks now, is at 7 a.m. you can get on to try and enter the queue, but you do not have to be in the parks. Like, I can be at home, jump on at 7 a.m., get in the queue, and then head down to Hollywood Studios.
Right, but that doesn't mean you're guaranteed to get on the ride.
Well, no,
We
it
were
all
in the-
depends on.
We were in the queue at 7 a.m. and
10 a.m.
we weren't even thought about till 4 or 5 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And then you made it to where inside the attraction?
Right up to the queue line, and
Right
then they
up
were
to-
like,
yeah, the
"Ride's broken."
entrance.
We'll go right Slinky.
Hey, guess what, guys? You're not going on the ride.
So we're going to try again. So hopefully we'll be able to get on this time around, but who knows? One of these days we'll get to ride it.
Eventually.
2025.
Eventually.
Also, to go along with this, park-to-park transportation will be resuming at Walt Disney World on January 1st as well. But at this time, it is unclear as to what transportation options will be available. We're making the assumption that at least one of those will be the monorail line from Ticket and Transportation to Epcot. Fingers crossed. That would make the most sense. but-
Yes.
Bill could
Shall
take his
see.
death box between Epcot and Studios.
Yeah, there we go.
I think that's already running, though,
It
isn't it?
is, yeah. Those have been running for a while now.
You got a better chance of seeing God walk in front of you than for me getting on one of those death
Hey,
boxes.
and he's not going to be able to use the excuse that they're too hot because guess what? It's not hot out. We'll get you on.
Not going to happen.
And last but not least, more restaurants starting to reopen in the parks. Starting today, actually. Woody's Lunchbox at Hollywood Studios opened. Over in Magic Kingdom on December 13th, Crystal Palace reopens. but will not be having the character meet and greets for the time being. They will be offering a family-style dining experience, and advanced dining reservations will open on December 1st for there. And then also at Magic Kingdom on December 17th, Tomorrowland Terrace reopens with a revamped menu that will include lobster rolls, fried shrimp, and fried chicken.
Which one was that?
Tomorrowland Terrace.
Oh, Tomorrowland Terrace.
Yeah, as of right now, it's been like a mask, kind of relaxation station. The revamped menu, you'll probably notice a lot of the items for Harbor House on there, since Harbor House is still closed. So
that makes sense. That's why you threw me off.
Yeah.
Thank you, Miss Tanya, with your Disney news.
Yeah, there was a lot between you and me. There was a lot of Disney news that came out in the past week.
Well,
and a half.
not as much as Universal. Jeez,
It was sitting quietly in the whole time.
my God, it's crazy. You know what time it is, ladies and gentlemen. I don't have to tell you. Ask Indy. Mr. Dave Indy is going to answer your questions live on the podcast, talking about everything that is Universal and Disney. And if you have a question for Dave Indy, feel free to reach out to UDN and we will put it on our podcast. What do you got this week?
Definitely. And I'm glad you didn't do just an ask last time.
I thought you'd like that.
That was funny. But this one actually came because of the whole tribute store going on, and he's kind of popping up everywhere. You may even have the answer, but people want to know who Earl the Squirrel is over at Universal.
Good old Earl the Squirrel.
Because he is currently the last room of the holiday tribute store. So when you go in there, all the treats and stuff have like Earl's Nuts and Earl's Christmas Tree Farm. There's even now an ornament you can buy for about $9 inside the tribute store.
Now, see, that's an ornament that we need to get.
I would have it.
Okay.
I want that one, actually. I wouldn't mind having Earl the Squirrel.
Earl the Squirrel.
When you go look at the holiday stuff, you can get him.
Absolutely.
his
I'll
ornament.
get him an ornament.
But Earl the Squirrel has actually been around for a while. Most people don't realize it. He's actually in the Christmas tree out front of the tribute store. He's been there for a long time. So basically every year, thousands of people pass by it, not even realizing he is there. But Earl the Squirrel basically came to be around 2015, lurking in the shadows, and occasionally he'll pop his head out. He's a little animatronic squirrel that's in there. He's been menacing around in the trees with the Christmas lights for a long time. He rises up every few minutes each time, every year. He's in a new spot, so each year you got to always try to figure out where he's at. But basically, according to the story, how it goes was several years ago, the holiday decoration team at Universal Studios was busy assembling the tree to get it ready for the holiday season. As it turns out, after the tree had been sitting in storage for several months, a squirrel had somehow decided to make its new home there. As one of Universal Orlando's audiovisual techs were working on the tree, a real-life squirrel jumped out and attacked him. Yes, the squirrel and the guy were okay. However, in honor of that fine now moment, as a tribute to the live squirrel and to the team member, the animated version is now hidden somewhere within the tree every year. He's got a section of the Christmas tree lights in his mouth in tribute to the team member that was audiovisual working on the lights. It's also always been a small inside joke for Universal team members and a great story to have your friends, as well as something to look for when you're at the park. That's unusual. I know when I was there, Earl the Squirrel started to become really popular in the last year or stuff. For photo ops, he'd show up if they were doing any special events. Get your picture taken with Earl the Squirrel on things.
The cool part about it is it's just this random event that happened, and Universal took it and ran with it and made it into something really cool.
It is. And like when I first started almost 6 years ago when I was there, Chili Willy was the holiday mascot.
I remember that.
At that time, which will lead to a teaser for next Ask Indy that I have at one coming up. But basically, then I think Earl the Squirrel is now the new holiday mascot for Universal. So
without a doubt.
Definitely.
Thank you, Mr. Indy. We greatly appreciate that.
Of course.
No squirrel sound?
I don't have squirrel. I only have turkey.
Huh.
There you go.
Or nuts.
Slacker.
One more time. So, thank you, Mr. Indy.
Of
Very
course.
cool. Always a big fan of Earl the Squirrel.
Exactly.
So, with that being said, we are going to move into our random topic. And this one is definitely an interesting one. Touch and go. There's good points, there's bad points. But let's get into it. This is your random topic.
Random topic.
All right. So let me start off by saying sometimes Disney gets a bad rap. With any major corporation, you're going to get targeted by the scum of the earth trying to get anything and everything out of this corporate giant that they can. Now, with that being said, there's a lot of things that are a lot of lawsuits that happen, a lot of things that happen that really is not Disney's fault, but yet they wind up paying millions out because people see corporations making a ton of money and they want to go after them. But sometimes, just sometimes, you as the corporate giant are pretty ruthless and you live up to that reputation. And Disney by no means has been the pillar of morality when it comes to certain things. Now, the thing about it is, this Kona's curling up on his mother.
I feel betrayed.
Aw, poor Andy.
Poor Kona. Kona's like, whatever, I didn't approve this show.
Exactly. You moved it to the turkey lab. I'm not laying over there.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. So, have you guys heard of Alan Dean Foster? Now, if you haven't heard from this situation, it's just messed up. And Disney has a responsibility, I think, to, without going into it too deeply, to take care of the people that take care of them.
Yes.
And that's kind of what this is all about. But let me get into it, all right? Because I'm being very vague here. Alan Dean Foster is an author and a ghostwriter for creations like Star Wars The Force Awakens. And he created these under the byline of George Lucas, and it was published back in 1976, before the movie's release. So this is the guy that pretty much wrote Star Wars, okay? Legend status, right? Mm-hmm. But that's not the only one he has. He has a long list of items that he has done. He's responsible for writing Aliens, Aliens 2, Aliens 3. Like, we would not have the Aliens franchise without this dude. We would not have where we are with Star Wars without this guy. So, if you don't know what a ghostwriter is...
But he was working for George Lucas at the time.
He was hired by George Lucas to be a ghostwriter. Now, a ghostwriter actually writes the story, right? So George Lucas came up with the idea for Star Wars, went to Alan Foster and said, write this story. And Alan Foster created the story. But George Lucas gets the credit for the story. That's how the ghostwriters work, right? But the understanding is this guy gets a kickback. I mean, obviously you hire somebody, you pay them a lot of money to write the story, but then as the story develops and if it takes off, this individual gets a cut of the story.
Yeah.
Right? Pretty cut and dry, right? So Disney purchased Lucasfilms in 2012, and after that stopped paying him royalty. Like nothing. You get nothing.
Well, was it in the contract that they signed that he was supposed to get paid?
We're going to get there. Hang on just a sec. So, in addition, Foster wrote, like I said, the Aliens, Aliens 2, Aliens 3, which Disney bought when they acquired Century Fox in 2019. Okay, so now he's got two issues with Disney because he's supposed to be paid for both Star Wars and Aliens, right? Now, keep in mind that these franchises are still making Disney a shit ton of money.
Yep.
Even Aliens is still out there doing it, right? But Disney has not paid him royalties for anything, like at all. So, but Disney is trying to claim that they were trying to initially negotiate with him, but they wanted, like, it was like super shady. You know how Disney does it. Like you saw what happened with J.K. Rollins and Disney.
Yeah,
they're
room
like,
for lawyers.
You can bring Harry Potter to our parks, but we own everything and you got to go away.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's kind of how Disney is. He's, the underside of the pixie dust is very ugly, You know what I mean? The belly of the beast, if you will.
Anyone that's been on the inside knows that.
Yeah, and that's tough because when you see people on the outside that don't know the belly of the beast, you know what I mean, has not seen that ugly side of Disney. Everybody just sees the pixie dust and gets all giddy, but they have to also understand that there's a very dark side of Disney.
It's
as
a
well,
business.
Right? At the end of the day, that's exactly what it is, right? So the problem is with this situation, it's very complex, and there's still a lot of unanswered questions about what's going on. On the surface, Disney, there's no doubt in my mind Disney should be paying this guy.
I don't think they should.
Absolutely, they should. They took on...
They bought it from whoever had initially
right.
got him to write it. That's not on Disney to keep paying this guy.
Actually, it is.
No.
Because Disney is making money off of these franchises.
Unless it was in the contract that they were supposed to still be paying him, then no, he really doesn't have a leg to stand on.
But I disagree with that statement, and I'll tell you why I disagree. Here's the thing. He still owns the rights to this stuff. Okay, now when Disney bought those rights from the third party, Lucasfilms in 2012 and then Century Fox in 2019, those companies were obligated to pay him royalties. Disney took on that responsibility. They're taking the benefits, but they're also taking on the responsibilities, which means they have to continue to pay this guy. Now, they haven't paid this guy in 10, 12 years now. The problem is, so when Foster went to Disney with his lawyers saying, look, you guys are still making money off of my stuff. You need to pay me. I get what you're saying, Tanya. I do. I understand that. But that's kind of where the gray area is here. Disney won't even talk to him unless he signs a non-disclosure agreement, pretty much signing over the rights to everything. Like, they won't even come to the table. So they're pulling another JK.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, listen, we're not even going to talk about it. We're not even going to negotiate the fee that we owe you. We're not going to do anything unless you sign this non-disclosure agreement, not talking about it, but yet you're going to have to sign over your rights to the properties so that we don't ever have to do this again. Now, that paycheck that Disney's going to give him is probably going to be significant, but it's going to be a one-time deal, and that's it. You lose your cash cow. You lose your little golden egg, which I understand on Disney's side of it because they don't want to keep paying this guy. So here's your money. Go away. We own everything. Now things get complicated. That's just the basis to this, right? Now there's health issues involved. Foster was diagnosed in 2016 with an aggressive form of cancer, and he ain't gonna make it. Okay, but that was 4 years ago?
Yeah.
All right. So he's still fighting the cancer. He's still alive. He's still doing his thing. His wife now has become ill as well. And he's saying because of all the expensive health care that is required for both of them, that he needs this money. And so the response by Disney to the argument is that when they bought Lucasfilms and 20th Century Fox, they bought the contract rights, but not the legal obligation to pay him for his work, which makes no sense to me whatsoever. This is intellectual property that belongs to Mr. Foster. And yes, you own the rights to it to do as you will with it, but Mr. Foster still owns the intellectual property. So why would you not pay the man? So now Disney is obviously dragging their feet. They don't want to talk to him. They don't want to deal with his lawyers because they know he's got cancer. They know it's an aggressive form of cancer.
Yeah.
And if they didn't know, they now know because he's made it public. So what do you think Disney's going to do? You think Disney's going to rush to the table to pay this guy?
Of course not.
Well, no. They're going to sit back and wait for him to die. And then they don't have to pay him anything.
But if a smart company was out there, they'd go to him, buy that from him, pay his medical expenses, and then now they own technically the rights and could go after Disney even after he expires, right?
Yeah, it's tough to buy intellectual property, though.
But he could sell it if it's his.
Yeah, I mean, he's the one that put words to paper. He's the one that actually wrote the story.
Yeah.
So
whatever rights he owns, he could technically sell, because that's what Disney's trying to do, is buy it from him.
well, Disney owns the rights. They don't own the intellectual property of it.
But
right.
could he sell the property to somebody else?
I mean, that's
Like,
a great question.
That'd be great. Like,
I don't know.
I hate to say Comcast or Warner Brothers came in and be like,
Yeah.
here you go.
Here you go. Well,
Now we own it. Now what
now-
you going to do?
Yeah. Now we're going to fight.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, right?
Now we'll go back and forth.
Right. But this is obviously a corporate giant beating up on somebody that doesn't need to be beat up on. I mean, I see Tanya's point.
They should have
You
offered
know-
him a buyout, though.
Yeah, they should have done something, right?
then.
But then there's another thing to this. You know, I mean, Disney is obviously just saying this guy's time is limited. We're just going to drag our feet and let him die, and we won't have to pay him, which really, honestly, is a typical Disney move, sadly. But then you may have to deal with the estate, because if I was that guy and I knew that Disney was playing that card, I would have set up an estate to go after Disney well after I was done.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'd make life hell for Disney.
Tie it up in legal.
But in Disney's defense now, there's a lot that we don't know about this situation, right? Because we're only hearing Mr. Foster's side of it. Because Disney will not talk about this at all. And when they even bring it up, they're like, he hasn't signed a non-disclosure agreement. We can't talk about it, blah, 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 blah. And from what I understand, this non-disclosure agreement was a lot more than just a hush-hush thing. If this was, okay, don't talk about this and let's sit down and work this out, that'd be one thing. But from what I understand, digging into this, it's a non-disclosure agreement, but it's also sign your rights over.
Yeah.
Which he's not going to do. He's not going to sign that. Like, who would? So there's a question about the fact that this is over 20 years old. The situation is over 20 years old. There's a question about statute of limitations in public domain. You know what I mean? Like, Star Wars is like, you know, Disney is desperately trying to keep the Star Wars domain. They're desperately trying to keep, well, I don't know if they're desperate about Alien, but I know they're desperate about Star Wars because that's their cash cow, right?
Yeah.
Just in the same respect as Mickey Mouse. I don't know if you've seen this before, but Mickey Mouse is about to go public domain because how old it is. And Disney is fighting tooth and nail with the copyright people to prevent that from happening. Because if Mickey Mouse goes public domain, then every Dick, Tom, and Harry will be able to put out merchandise, and Disney will lose everything. So, but there's not much of a difference when it comes to that. We don't know what's in the contract. The contract between 20th Century Fox and Mr. Foster. We don't know the contract from Lucasfilms with Mr. Foster. As far as, obviously, there's royalties. But to what extent? And we're not probably talking about a lot. We're probably talking like, what, percentage points on the dollar?
True.
I mean, so, but those percentage points add up when it's $1 billion franchise. You got to pay this guy $700 million.
Every time it's showed on television or something, you get a percentage.
That's it, right? So there's questions about the contracts. There's questions on whether Disney has an obligation to fulfill those contracts because they bought out the company. They bought the franchise. And a lot of people are like, look, you bought his stuff. You're making money off of his stuff. Pay the man.
Yeah.
Just pay him. So it's a legal battle. It's going. Disney feels like they don't owe him a dime. They're trying to say, look, you need to go to your previous owner and get the money from them because we own the contract rights. We're not obligated to pay you. So you need to go back to whoever. This Foster guy is sitting back going, okay, you're 20th Century Fox, you're Lucasfilms, and Disney's sitting over there. Like, one of you three is paying me.
Yep.
I don't care who it is. One of you three is paying my royalties.
Or all three.
Or all three of you are.
Divide it up.
And Disney's like, nope, I ain't got nothing. Screw you. Okay? And then there's another factor to this. Again, we don't know a lot about this situation, but the man has been paid royalties since 1976. And they stopped paying the royalties in 2012. This man should be beyond wealthy. If you wrote Star Wars, You should be on a yacht sitting in the Caribbean. Don't do it, Warren. Okay?
You beat me to it.
That's what I'm trying to say, right? This guy should have millions upon millions upon millions of dollars. This guy should be wiping his ass with $100 bills.
And you add aliens on top of that.
Right, exactly. So why is this guy broke? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I get it. Disney has to pay you or somebody has to pay you. But why are you broke?
Maybe he lived his life knowing he would always have money or thought he'd always have money coming in.
I don't know. He maintains the attitude of Disney purchased the rights. They assume the contract and the obligation to pay him. Maybe I'm just being cynical, but this guy's dying. Disney knows this. Like, if Disney had a moral compass, they would go to the table, work out a deal, and give this guy his money he needs so he can go live the rest of his life before he dies.
Yeah.
But you know and I know that that's not how Disney works. Disney is going to go, well, we could save a shit ton of money by just letting this guy die.
Yep.
You know, which to me is a dick move. You know what I mean?
But again, not the first time they've done it.
Yeah. So look, at the end of the day, here it is. Disney has an obligation to do the right thing regardless. Okay? I understand you want a non-disclosure agreement before you talk. I get that because they don't want him going to the press and making Disney look bad. I get that. Take out him signing off his rights because he's never going to give that up because This is his baby. This is his cash cow.
Or when he passes and his wife passes, they can have it.
Whatever. Okay, work out some kind of deal where you can pay this man one lump sum, we're done, go away. And be finished with it. But they feel like they don't owe this guy a dime, which is silly. This guy was a genius behind legendary classics that are still making money today for Disney. Like, seriously, pay this dude. Like, I understand what Tanya's saying, but
I say we need to have all of the facts before we make any. There might have been something in the contract that stated that Disney didn't have to pay the guy. We don't know.
That's true. That's true. We don't know that. But in the same respect, intellectual property is intellectual property. And the guy still owns it. The guy still owns the intellectual property of this stuff.
I think that all depends on the deal that was maybe between George Lucas and Century Fox.
There's definitely more to the story than that, but
I mean, if Disney feels that they have a leg to stand on by not paying him, there was something in contracts between that guy and George Lucas and that guy and Century Fox where it didn't fall on Disney.
On the surface, I don't agree with that. You know what I mean? Like, I see what you're going. You're playing devil's advocate, and I appreciate that. But I think they do have an obligation to pay him. You know what I'm saying?
Enough with the turkey.
So
Lord.
The Writers Association has started a Disney Must Pay hashtag.
Nice.
For Foster, in support of Foster, because they're like, look, just pay the man. And there's a lot of public...
There's his estate.
Yeah. There's a lot of public stuff going on with this. If Disney would come out and say, look, in this contract it says that we're not obligated to pay him, that puts an end to all of this. But Disney's not saying that. Disney won't talk about it.
Yeah, but it's an open case. They can't make a comment on an ongoing open case.
Yeah, I get it, but they're not even willing to talk to this guy's lawyers. They're not even willing to talk to anybody. They're not even willing to come to the table unless this guy signs over his rights. That's fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, pay the man. Like, this guy was a genius. He gave us gems that'll stay with us for the rest of our lives. There's no reason why this guy should be not a billionaire by now. So that's just my 2 cents. Take it for what it's worth. That is your random topic. All right, we're going to move on quickly because we're like 3 hours into the show already.
Well, if Bill wasn't so wordy.
However, we're going to quickly move into sponsors. We don't have a lot to talk about as far as sponsors go right now. Jen's deep in the turkey lab working on a lot of stuff. So I know there's new sponsors coming, which is super awesome. We'll announce those in the future. But as far as the main sponsors. Obviously, I'm going to talk about Rock Stars and Flowers because they're a major sponsor of the podcast. They're killing it. They're making holiday edition paintings, like just absolutely killing it. Go check them out. Rock Stars and Flowers Facebook group, and the Instagram is coming very shortly. So if you want to order a painting from them, feel free to do so. Let them know that Universal Disney Nuts sent you, and they'll give you a discount. So speaking of discounts, it's the holiday season coming up. We're still dealing with Thanksgiving, but we do have that C word coming, and
Christmas.
Yes.
See,
so
you can say it.
Crisis.
COVID. That's the
C word.
No,
Canceled.
No.
So, folks, obviously, Thanksgiving is upon us. And as soon as we're done with Thanksgiving, obviously, these annoying people with their Christmas will be shoving Christmas down our throats. And we all have Christmas lists. We all have things that we have to do. The commercialization of Christmas is completely taking over the holiday, but I digress. So if you have a lengthy Christmas list and they're Disney fans or Universal fans, best thing you can ever possibly do is go to our marketplace. Yep. worldofudn.com. Click on the marketplace. You will see everything that you need to finish your Christmas shopping. I mean, hardcore. If you have Universal and Disney fans that are out there, there is only one place you need to go, and that's UDN Marketplace. We've got a ton of stuff that's there that, I mean, you can literally finish your Christmas shopping in one shot deal. Boom. You know, like most of us guys.
Yep.
So
Isn't that the truth?
go to worldofudn.com, check out the marketplace, and take advantage of the deals and discounts that we have there for you. It's going to be huge. So make sure you do that. All right, we're going to finish this up. But I will tell you that if you're coming down, these parks are packed.
Yep.
They raise their capacity levels just to be at capacity again. All right, there's a lot of people at Disney Springs. There's a lot of people at the parks. So if you're, like we said before, if you're not ones that feel comfortable with that situation, don't come down because it's going to be crazy for the next couple of weeks.
Cats and dogs living together.
Yeah, man. You know it, especially when we get closer to that C word. So
Canceled.
Just both of you, stop. Just stop.
So
There's
just
nothing wrong with Christmas time.
nothing wrong at all.
At Christmas.
At Christmas, exactly. So let us take the time this Thanksgiving to be thankful for what we have. 2020 has been hell for everyone. And if you're healthy and you have a family and you guys are able to get together and celebrate Thanksgiving and eat your turkey and watch your football, then you are blessed enough, right? Because there's a lot of people that have lost a lot of family members this year. So keep that in mind. Be thankful for what we have. Be thankful that we still have what we have. I think we are on the road to progress here. I think hopefully we can get free and clear of all this stuff and kind of return back to normal. But I will tell you that if you are in these parks, be safe, have fun, wear your mask, and we will talk soon.
You have been listening to the official Universal Disney Nuts podcast. Please visit our website at worldofudn.com and join us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for all the latest updates, news, and events from your favorite theme parks. See you in 2 weeks.